Hi, everybody. It's episode 452 of PodQuest.
Hey.
Chirp, chirp, chirp.
It's Wednesday, April 12th, 2023. I am Chris. With me is Druten.
Hello.
And a bird outside.
The cock.
And I guess Walnut is here, too.
No, I'm Hey Hey.
You're what?
Hey Hey.
The bird from Moana.
Voiced by what's his name?
Alan
Voices
Tudyk.
everything. That's it.
I don't know that I knew that bird's name. I saw Moana once, like, around the time it came out.
Hey, they're
Moana's
doing a
a good
live-action remake.
They're
That-
doing,
I-
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, fucking already.
Yeah,
Hold
and you know
on.
what? Like, it was a good Disney movie.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
no. Agreed.
I'm kind of upset no one responded to my post in Movies, TV, and Anime on my Discord today. For the Muppets Mayhem. It's like a behind the music series of Dr. Teeth band from the Muppets.
I saw the thing posted, but I was
It's-
at work. I did not have a chance to click on it.
Well, like, I think maybe the first or second episode is like a behind the music type stuff, but then the rest of it is them trying to come back into the world and create new music. At one point, they try to mimic, Deadmau5 and stuff. I'm all for it. All in on this series.
Is it on, like, Disney Plus or something?
Yeah, D+.
Yeah, you know what? That could be interesting.
Yeah.
That could definitely be interesting. I lost track of everything, guys. Like, I have no idea what's going on right now.
We're
How's
recording
everybody doing?
PodQuest.
How are you guys doing?
Doing
You know,
alright.
Can't complain. Started my day nervous, but I can't complain.
That's good. I'm glad.
Yeah.
Drew, how about you?
No.
Yeah.
Wow, no one's
It's-
going to ask
it's
why
been
I
a
was
day.
nervous.
Yeah, I was going to ask what made you nervous, Walnut?
And this is all just me being self-indulgent and plugging again. My first Let's Play episode came out today at noon. And so I'm just like, oh no, I hope people like it. Nervous.
See, I was going to bring that up later. God,
It's nowhere on here, so I don't know.
that was I was going to surprise you by asking you
No, you-
about it after the
no,
first
you
thing.
No, you weren't.
Yes, I was.
You can't prove it now.
On my I mean, I can't prove it, but I actually have on my my timestamp doc that I have side by side with the outline.
Okay.
It just says Let's Play, so that I
Okay.
would remember to ask you about the Let's Play.
But now we're not fucking talking about it. You ruined
You know
his
what?
surprise. It's over.
We already talked about it. Okay. I was just nervous, okay? I was nervous because I don't know if people are going to like it or not. And
I don't like it.
I've had some people say it was good. So, I'm happy. That makes
Is
me
it
happy.
like
that I
edited
it.
and stuff?
Yes, I recorded, so it's, The Long Dark. I'm doing it on the second to hardest difficulty, Stalker difficulty. And I recorded for about 45 minutes, was able to cut it down to just about a half hour. And then my next episode, I might be recording tonight, if not Friday, and I plan on cutting that a little bit differently, so that I want to get it under a half hour. But yeah, it's edited down so that, like, just me walking is cut down, or, if I'm checking every cabinet, if there's actually a little bar that, like, has to, like, scroll around to, like, this is how long it takes for you to check a cabinet. I'll click the cabinet, and then once the bar shows up, I'll cut from the bar showing up to the bar ending, so it's just like a quick, here you go, and not, because there's a couple of places where it's just like rapid fire checking every cabinet, and not getting anything in some of them. I might cut a lot of the inspecting cabinets out.
Well, that's what people are there for, though.
Not
Like, who the
really.
fuck watches a long dark Let's Play and not want to see all the cabinet?
I mean, I'm sure a lot of people. There's a lot more to see in that game than just opening cabinets.
Is there, though?
There is. There's actually, I've watched, so there's a YouTuber named Glock9 who did a Let's Play, who found a prison that I did not know was on the map.
And they probably opened a bunch of cabinets while they were there.
No, they didn't spend any time in the prison, which kind of makes me annoyed because they found, so, at this prison there's like an actual locked key-coded door that you can find a note that'll tell you where the, passcode is to get into the door. He found the note that told him where the passcode was, but he didn't take the note, and therefore didn't mark it on his map. And so he never went to get to the passcode to find out what was in the door. And, like, I was actually super frustrated at some of the ways he played the game, but, like, also, you play the game how you want to play the game. The way he was playing it was not the way I would play.
So what you're saying is he played it wrong and you don't like him.
Maybe a little. No, I love Glock 9. I watch all his shit. Trust me, I love everything he does. But it's just like I was like, man, you should do it this way. You should do. I'm just like you're doing it wrong.
Oh, you're a backseat gamer.
No, because I'm not gonna actually tell him he's doing it wrong.
Well, you will when I send him a clip of just that little bit.
That's fine. He'll talk shit on me on his next episode of whatever he's making and laugh, and he'll probably tag me and be like, oh, this guy thinks he's better than me. Let's check out his Let's Play. And maybe I'm better than him. Maybe I'm not. You never know.
We're gonna go with not, but only because it's your first try. Bless you.
Thank you.
Was that you that sneezed? I wasn't really sure who did it.
It was me.
Okay.
I mean, it's not the first time I've played the game, but it is my first Let's Play.
Yeah, that's why I'm assuming this is not like a shot at you. Like, it's probably kind of bad because it's the first one you've done. Like, nobody strikes gold on their first one.
Yeah, but I've watched through it because I had to edit it, and I played it, and I was like, you know what, it's not terrible. It's like at least enjoyable if you like this game. And so, yeah, if you guys have a chance to look up, I think it's it's Let's Play the Long Dark Permadeath, and it's B1nuts on YouTube. Check it out.
Right. Well, with that out of the way, I'm sorry. It's one of those days. What's on the agenda?
On the agenda, Cobb wants to talk about Apex Legends for some reason. I'm shocked. Then me and Drew played some board games on Saturday night. I almost said Friday night. Then I started listening to a new podcast. You wrote watching words on there, Cobb. No, you wrote watching on the thing, Cobb.
Oh, is it not like it's not like a YouTube show?
No, it's a podcast.
I don't know anything. I've never fucking heard of this before.
I said it was a podcast.
Did you?
Fucking, it's the one with Jeff Goldblum in it.
Yeah, I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah, I said I started listening to a new podcast called Dark Dice.
Well, you called it an actual play, so I think I assumed there was a YouTube element to it, and that you were just watching it on YouTube.
Fair.
But it is an actual.
But I just assumed it was a YouTube one.
But I said listen.
You may have, but like
I started listening to a new actual play called Dark Dice.
I think I saw the actual play part and just ran with it.
Whatever. So my flub up was Cobb's fault. And then Cobb, you started watching Mythic Quest.
No, you started listening to it. What are you talking about?
You started listening to Mythic Quest. And then we all watched Pitch Perfect 2. I actually more so listened to it, but honestly, that show was mostly audio bits, and it was great, so you didn't really have to watch it. But yeah, that's the show.
Yeah, that is going to be a show. So Rich, how are you doing with Apex? That's actually why I put it on here.
I'm doing slightly better than I expected.
Real quick, just to roll back for anyone that doesn't know. So you were trying to get your rank up before like a reset or something, right?
Well, so here's the thing. If you have not played Apex Legends or any other sort of online ranked game mode, they do seasons, and midway through the season, they will have what they call rank split, which will lower your rank. Like the rank before. So if you get to silver, you go back to bronze. If you get to gold, you go back to silver, and so on and so forth.
Just to also real quick clarify: A, not every game does this. B, Apex hasn't always done this either. It's relatively new in Apex.
Yeah, it's how they've been doing it since I've been paying attention to the rank split over the past.
It's only been like the last 3 seasons.
Then it's only over the last year that I've been paying attention to it. But currently, they're in season 17, Drew, I believe.
It's 16 or 17. I don't remember for sure.
And as a celebration for me reaching 300 followers on Twitch, I decided to do a month of Apex in ranked mode, which is now just turned into the full split. So the end of the season, 30-something days, like 35 days of me playing Apex Legends ranked. I started on April 4th because that was the day the split happened, so if I had started prior to that, I would have lost any progress I made anyway, because I know I wouldn't have gotten above silver by then. And so starting after that worked better. So I've been playing since the 4th. I've been playing Apex since a little bit before the 4th, but on ranked since the 4th. And as of yesterday, which was the 11th, by the end of yesterday's stream, I reached almost to the end of silver 4. So it goes, you start at bronze 4 and it counts down to bronze 1, and then it goes silver 4 all the way down to silver 1, so on and so forth.
You actually start at rookie 3.
Well, yeah, you start at rookie, but once you get out of rookie, you never go back to rookie. You're always in bronze from that point forward.
Oh, really? So even if you don't play for like an extended period, it won't like drop you?
Yeah, because rookie is like the training. It's like this is teaching you how ranked works and things like that. Because I did
say
rookie,
that's also not true.
I'm just. It's not actual training, but it's the people who are just jumping into ranked, and it's like, here's how ranked works.
Well, that's what I'm saying you can go back to rookie.
I jumped into rookie 2 seasons ago, and I jumped out of rookie 2 seasons ago, or a season ago, and I never went back. I started in bronze.
Maybe a season, but like going way back, I played a lot of ranked Apex, and I was almost gold. I might have even gotten bounced from like silver 1 to gold 4, and I definitely had this, and I haven't played a lot of ranked Apex since, and I definitely started this in rookie.
Maybe because, they did change up the seasons at some point, and how RP is gained as well as how much RP is needed to get up levels, so they might have reset everyone prior to that.
Maybe.
To rookie. Because Xeno Alien, somebody I stream with and talk to about Apex a lot, he says he's reached Master, whatever's after Diamond. He's reached that once or twice in the old system. And in their current system that they have, he can barely get out of Platinum. But the amount of RP that he has would have gotten him to Master in the past. So, like, that's how drastically they changed it. He is a lot further. He has a lot more RP, but he is still further behind than where he used to be.
Gotcha.
But yeah, so that's like the basic gist of ranked. And so I have been playing ranked. I am out now, silver 4. I have about 130 RP left to get to silver 5, or silver 3. And the way that it works is in bronze, you just need 500 RP per rank to rank up. In silver, you need 600. I think I'm under 100. So I would actually be the next rank up if I were still in bronze. That's how fast I went through. I started yesterday at bronze 1 and made it all the way to the end of silver 1 in one stream, which felt great.
Well, good job.
Yeah. It's all going to turn into whatever I end the month in will determine a celebratory stream. There's a chance I could go back. There's a chance I could fall back to bronze.
So what's your punishment if that happens?
So, if I cannot end the month outside of bronze, I have to play Mega Man X8. The worst game I ever played. Yeah. That's if I end the month still as a bronze, or if I end the split as bronze, I have to play that. It's anything else, anything above bronze is all like, it's like Mario Kart is for silver, for reaching silver. So right now, Celebration is Mario Kart. If I reach gold, I think I said probably Mario Party, but I might change that to Fall Guys. And if I get to platinum, I might do Mario Party.
So let's make sure he doesn't get to platinum.
People like Mario Party. Just because you guys don't doesn't mean a lot of people don't. No, I know people who like Mario Party. Mario Party is, in my opinion, a fun game.
We had you watch people play Mario Party. You hated watching people play Mario Party.
I hated watching people be mad at the fact that they got to play Mario Party and get paid for it. And they complained about it the entire fucking time. That's what I hated. I hated people being miserable.
It's because it's Mario Party. It's miserable.
No. I was about to say the same thing.
They're miserable because they're playing a game that they don't like. I like Mario Party. I'm not going to be miserable. I didn't hate the thing because it was Mario Party. I hated the thing because of the people.
Wait, can you play Mario Party online without everyone having it, or do you know enough people that also have it?
I mean, I don't know. People might need to have it. I don't even have it, so I'd have to buy it.
I thought you did have it.
No, I haven't gotten it, so I'd have to buy it. But I do know enough people I know at least 3 people that have Mario Party. But it's just like the reason that's in a higher tier is because like it's a fucking Mario game, so it's going to be $60, $70. I kind of don't want to buy it just because I'm going to play it maybe once or twice, because the people I do know who have it, we're not going to play it that often. And I'm just, it's a party game. I don't want to play it unless I have people to play it with.
That is not a game you want to play by yourself.
Yeah.
No.
But yeah, congratulations on getting your rank up, as it were.
Thanks. Everyone had faith in me that I'd get to at least silver. So, the real celebration is going to be if and when I reach gold. But I feel like over the course of the past week alone, I've gotten better at planning, at communication, at knowing where to go and things like that. The hardest part for me, and for anybody I've played with so far, is really fucking Broken Moon, the level. That's just the worst level, and that makes this rank grind harder, because no one likes that level, no one really knows that level, and, it has me considering changing stream days just to avoid that fucking...
Really?
Yeah. That, Drew, you could probably agree. I don't know how you feel about Broken Moon, but most people I talk to do not like Broken Moon.
I can't tell you what level is what. That's how little I give a fuck about
Broken
the
Moon
levels. I think they're all fine.
Broken Moon is a level with all the zip lines and stuff when Catalyst.
Actually, I might like that one more than the others.
I don't like it just because it has the same issue that, people have with Stormpoint, and that I kind of have with Stormpoint, but Stormpoint actually does it a little bit better. It's very big, and there's a whole lot of nothing in between POIs, and because of the easy ways to travel around with the zip lines, you get into a firefight, everyone's on you right away. There's not a lot of 1v1s or 3-team fights. It's, once you get into a single firefight, you have at least 4 teams come on you at once. And it's just, there's no way to actually, even easily third party if you hear a fight, and I don't often have good experiences dropping in that map.
Can you pick your map, or does it auto pick just
no?
Whatever?
So
it's on a rotation.
The way, there's a rotation. So if you're playing in non-ranked, it's every 90 minutes a new map comes out. When you're playing in Battle Royale, if you're doing their LTM, it's like the Battle Royale, the gun run, and everything else, that's I think every 15-minute change, 20, maybe 15 to 30 minutes it rotates. But in ranked, it's daily. So every day at noon, it changes to the next map.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that.
Yeah. But if you're saying people complain about the one map being too big, but then all the people just wind up in the one spots when fights happen, I feel like they try to mitigate all the people being in one spot by having a bigger map. If you have a smaller map, everyone's just going to wind up bunched up together. And so you're complaining about a thing that they're trying to solve, but then you're all just doing it anyway. So it's
no. The problem is, honestly, to me, it's the zip lines. You're able to travel too fast around the map, and you'll get say they're in a I don't know how, say in a 500 meter radius, there's 3 POIs, and they're all 250 meters apart from each other. In a triangle, somehow, or something like that. You can get to each of those very quickly, but between the POIs, there's nothing. And that's where it's alright, well, this kind of sucks. Everyone converges onto these several spots, and then there's nothing in between. There's no good cover, or good areas to find cover. And it's just if you're not at a POI, you're kind of screwed. And
I feel that's every map in that game, though.
And then there's just Promenade, where everyone decides to drop at Promenade when there's no good loot there, which just sucks.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't know. I don't really see how that map really is any different from any of the other maps when it comes to that. All the maps have things to let you be able to get to other spots quickly. That is how that game is designed.
Yes, but and that's the thing, Stormpoint and Broken Moon are 2 that have a lot more of the ways to travel from spot to spot quickly, because Stormpoint and Broken Moon, they have the cannons, they have the zip lines that zip you around. There are the drop zips that you can go up on, I can't remember, World's Edge and King's Canyon, and even on Olympus, but they don't actually get you that far. They don't help you move that far, and to get to them, you can't get to them as fast as you can get to some of these zip lines. And it's, I don't know, I've also kind of noticed that normal Apex audio issues happen a lot more in Broken Moon than they do in any other map.
Well, that sounds like a personal problem.
Apex needs to fix their audio, man.
That's another thing I've been seeing complaints about lately, and I don't know that I get them. I don't know if that's a PC thing, but like, I've seen the complaints. I'm like, I don't know. I hear this game fine. I can tell you where shots are coming from.
It's not the shots. It's footprints, footsteps. People will be right behind you, and you will not hear them.
I also don't have that issue.
As dumb as it sounds, it's very selective. There are times where I've talked about this, and I've even showed it on streams and stuff. Like, yes, I can hear exactly where they are in this building I'm standing right next to. But then there's other times where they'll take a zip up, and I don't even hear the zip. And they'll sneak up right behind me and blow me up without even knowing that they were there. And it's just like, it's not all the time, but it is a lot more that I have audio issues than I don't.
Yeah, again, I wonder if that's a PC thing.
I know Xbox players have the issue. So I don't know.
Fucking Respawn?
Yep.
Respawn.
Yes.
Yeah. I was gonna say Epic. I'm like, no, that's Fortnite. That's the wrong one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else you want to say about Apex, though?
No, I'm having fun with this. I am. It's
good. And you're still playing the rest of the month?
Yes. It's going to be until, let's see, I think there was 27 days left in the season yesterday.
You said like May 4th, I think, right?
Well, 7, so until Monday the 8th, I think, give or take. So initially it was going to be till May 4th, but because I found out that the season was going to end so soon, so close to it, I was just like, I'll just do the full season. I mean, it's only an extra couple of days, it's not that big of a deal, but I'll do the full split of the season instead of just stopping on the 4th. It gives me a little bit of extra time, and it kind of, to me, makes sense. We start on the split, we end at the end of the season.
That does make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it's about the 8th or something like that.
Okay. Well, how did you guys feel about these games you played?
So we played 4 games technically, Drew. First, before my nieces went to sleep, we played Grape Escape.
I was gonna say I didn't play Grape Escape. You did.
Yeah, though. It's which is silly. It's a kids game. Yeah, they get little things up
forever.
I've never seen it.
It was around in the 90s. I remember the fucking commercial.
But like if you've never played, you get like little Play-Doh dudes that you squeeze into a mold, and it's like you have your green Play-Doh, your red Play-Doh, whatever, blah blah blah, and you turn them into little grapes. You then you roll a die and you move through the board, and if you land on a space, your grape gets smushed, and you have to make a new grape and put it at a spot. And you just have to see who gets to the end of the conveyor belt last or first. And who gets squished the least and whatnot. And it was silly. It's a fun little silly kids game. But then we played, what was the gambling game?
We played Wits and Wagers. It's
Wits and Wagers.
Trivia/gambling game. So all the questions, the answer is a number. Everyone writes down their answer, and then you put the answers on a board, and you sort them from lowest to highest.
Okay.
And then everyone bets on what they think the right answer was, or who was closest without going over. And the version we played, I guess Eric got the Kickstarter version at some point, and it has a Vegas.
Of course he did.
Of course he did. Has a Vegas theme where before all the answers are shown, for 10-1 odds, you can just bet on the person you think is going to get the right answer. And that is how
me
Richie and
my
won.
niece won because she was like, "Can I play with you?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And so in the game you get two coins, one that represents $100, one that represents $200. You have to play those every round, and you get them back every round. So I would hide them. I would hide them in my hands and have her pick. I think out of the 10 rounds or whatever we had, 5-6 rounds we had, she picked the 200 coin 5 out of 6 times. And we would always ask her, "Do you want to guess who got it right before knowing what the numbers are?" And she said yes. And of the however many rounds she guessed that, I think she guessed it 4 times. She got it right at least 3.
Mm-hmm.
And got us $2,000 each round.
And
Good
so,
on her.
with those being 10-1, and then all the rest, when they're sorted lowest to highest, are like 5-1, 4-1, 3-1, as it gets closer to the middle number.
Yeah, and then it goes up as it gets further from the middle.
Yeah.
Because it's like the highest guess and the lowest guess are like the higher odds because they may be less likely, and then like the 2 closest guesses are like the lower odd. And because we were playing with 6 people or something like that, the middle portion was taken out, whereas there's like an exact middle, which is only like 2-1 or something.
Yeah. And then the Vegas version also has you could bet on either red or black, which were the 3 highest guesses or the 3 lowest guesses.
Yeah, and it's a quick game. It doesn't take too long. A little bit of guesswork and thinking. I was mad at myself because one of the questions was like, when was the first showing of Donald Duck, or like when did Donald Duck first appear in a
cartoon or whatever? Yeah,
and I guessed. I'm going to say 1942 or something like that. And it was like 1937. I was the closest.
Wow,
guess.
I didn't realize it was that long ago.
Yeah. And I explained this when we were playing. The only reason I know this is because there was Nazi propaganda using Donald Duck back in...
Anti-Nazi propaganda.
I don't know, it's Disney.
Fair.
Back during World War II era. So I do remember like that being within the early 1940s. So I wasn't sure how long ago he was introduced, but I knew it was like pre 1942. Yeah. So what did you
say the name of that game was? I just realized I didn't type it.
Wits and Wagers.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, and a lot of the other questions were just very similar to that. Anytime there was a history-based question, we all just guessed through.
Even though I got almost none of the answers. Right?
Yeah.
When you guys initially were talking about it, for some reason I was thinking more. Do you guys remember there was that stock trading game? I forget what it was called. It was card based though.
That's
Are you thinking?
Pit?
Yes, Pit. For some reason in my head, I thought it was more like that until you started describing, and you're just like, oh yeah, and there was a question about Donald Duck. I'm like, oh, I am totally thinking in the wrong direction.
Yeah, no. It is a trivia game that you do not need to know anything to win.
Which it's kind of like, again, I can't remember the name of the goddamn game. Rich, the game that we saw at PAX during, was it the Whiz Kids? No, it wasn't Whiz Kids. I forget what booth it was. But remember we saw that one game that was, it was trivia, but it was kind of hard questions, and the concept was you actually bet your stuff based on what you thought other people got right, not necessarily on what you got right.
It was like that university type game, and you had to convince people that you were more right.
Yeah,
or something. You had to make the guesses that were more right.
Yeah, you had to.
Right.
You basically wagered based on that.
Yeah. I don't remember the name. I can't remember the name of the booth. For some reason, it would be Always Fun or something like that.
Oh, Forever Stoked.
Forever Stoked. That's very close to Always Fun.
Teamwork.
Yeah. Forever Stoked. So close to Always Fun.
I mean, there's a through line there.
Yeah.
I was gonna say closer than not close.
Yeah.
But yeah, Wits and Wagers. I don't think that was the first time I played that, but I enjoy that game. It's a nice, silly, fun, just who cares kind of game. Then we played. What was that card game you brought, Drew?
I forget what
Skull
one.
Or something.
Oh, Skull.
Right?
Skull. Yeah, we played Skull. Skull's fucking great.
Yeah, Skull is a bullshit card game. It's basically bullshit, but with less cards.
And it's just Skull, SKULL?
Yep.
Yeah.
You have 4 cards. 3 are a flower, 1 is a skull. Everyone plays 1 card. Then it goes around, starting with 1 person. They can either play another card face down, or bid a number of cards they think they can flip without finding them. But you have to start with your whole own pile. So if we've gone around 3 times, you've got 3 cards in front of you. If you bid there and say it's up to 6 people can play, Although I guess if you had more sets, more people, you couldn't. But
Mhm.
the box comes with 6, so if there's 6 people playing, everyone's got down 3, there's 18 things on the board. If you say 9, you start with your own 3, but then can flip any other 6. I'm starting from the top of the piles.
Yeah.
But if
Yeah,
you've
it's-
put your
it's
own
a-
skull in there, guess what? You're screwed.
Yeah. If you put your own skull as the first one and then play 2 more flowers and then say 3, and no one else guesses, you fucked yourself over. But that's the little bit of a guessing game of like how far can you push it to get people to try to pull your skull without you having to pull your skull.
Because, yeah, you might bid because you put your skull down, but you want someone else to be like,
Yeah.
oh, well, I'm going to flip it. Why would they bid if they had their skull? I'm going to flip theirs.
Yeah. But then it's like, then you're playing the reverse psychology of, well, I know that they know this, so do I know what they know I know?
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a fun game. It's not the first time we played it. We played it a couple weeks ago on online board games. It's cool. And then we did Settlers of Catan Starfarers, which, I told Eric after we were done, I'm like, this was a good version of this game. We just started it too late.
Yeah.
I feel like if we had started it maybe an hour prior, we wouldn't have been so, like, ready for it to be over by the time we got to that point, and we would have maybe been more competitive with it. But
so it's I assume it's like space colonies instead of islands or whatnot.
So it's Settlers of Catan. It's actually, instead of you being on an island where you have to build roads to travel through the island and create different settlements, you are exploring the galaxy and you find star systems. You can go from star system to star system, uncover and discover what's there, and you can either make trade connections with certain colored tiles, or you can like place colonies between between planets, and things like that. Which you can also eventually turn one of your colonies into a mothership, where you can then send your ships out from that one rather than from the one you started with all the way at the beginning.
Yeah, because your starting planets are all on one side of the board, and then you have to travel across the rest of the board, finding the other planet, the trade stations.
Yeah. And the planets, as opposed to how Settlers is where, like, the whole island is uncovered once you start, in Starfarers, it's, everything is flipped over, and you don't know what it is until you get there. And what it could be is nothing. And
somehow we randomly had essentially the entire. It almost winds up kind of lanes. Like the starting 12 planets are all in clusters of 3, like basically in 4 rows, and there were 4 extra things going across, right?
Something like that, 4 or 5. I don't know.
The very top row, I'm pretty sure it was 4, so a total of 5 in the row. Of the 4 things to be flipped, 3 of them were just empty.
Yeah. And we felt bad because Audra, my sister-in-law, she was playing through, trying to uncover planets along the top, and she went through all the way across the top and didn't find a single planet to settle. She found a space colony. I know there was a cluster of planets to settle at one point that I uncovered right before her turn, and she was like, I was about to go there. But, like, finding a planet doesn't really change. Like, you finding a star system doesn't add points to you. It's settling the star system and things like that adds more points. Instead of having things like longest road, most cities in this one, they do, there are 4 different tiles, potentially 4 different tiles on the map that you could make trade routes with. They're different alien species. And you could essentially get an additional 2 points if you have the most renown, I guess, the most trade docks in their colony. And so that's where the fighting back and forth for, like, the longest road would be is, oh, well, you got the green guys and you have 2 on there, but I can place 3 on there because I have enough resources and everything to put 3, which then means I can take that from the green guy, but I'm also going to go to the pink people and I'm going to put 1 on there because no one's got 1 on there, and now I have 4 points from having the most trade routes with 2 alien species. They kept the dice roll where, like, you get supplies based on your dice rolls, same as basic Catan, but they also incorporated, which streamlines the game very nicely, random cards, where every round you roll the dice, and based on your victory point level, if you have just like the lowest points, which I think is 4, you get 2 random cards every turn until you go over like 7 or 8, and then you only get 1 until you go over 12 or something. I don't remember the breakdown. And then you don't get any random cards. So that actually helps feed like the resources you might need. Same kind of trade aspect and everything else like that. But I thought this was a neat way to figure it out. They have these little spaceships that represent your mothership design. And that's how you decide how far you can travel, is based on the upgrades that you have on your spaceship, as well as you shake it, and there's like 3 or 4 or 5 different colored balls in here. Well, I think you could get multiples of colors as well. So I don't know.
There are
it's
4 different colors. I don't know
know
how many different balls.
I don't know how many different balls, but you shake it, and based on the 2 balls that show up at the bottom, where your thrusters are, determines if an event card gets pulled, or how many spaces you can move. And then you have to add cargo pods and lasers and things like that to be able to do other events. It's just, honestly, it's different enough of the original game that makes it, I feel like people like Drew, you don't like the original game. I feel like you might have enjoyed this one a lot more.
It's better, but it's a better version of a bad game, in my opinion. It's still so random. It's still, like, kind of bullshit. It was more interesting than just base Catan, but it's still Catan. Like, if I had to play a version of Catan again, I would want to play that version.
Well, you have to play it every time.
You know, I have still never played any Catan.
It's okay. It's Monopoly.
You would hate
roll
it because
dice and
it's
random
dice.
shit happens. And guess
you
what?
would hate it
You could
'cause
roll
it's-
stuff on your turn. You roll dice on your turn. You might get nothing from it. You might do a turn where you didn't do anything.
Yeah.
That seems about right for games, right?
That is at least the thing I can definitely say I like more about this version of Catan than basic Catan. Like, okay, maybe the die roll at the beginning, I didn't get any resources, but I then still, like, do something that can give me something.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll say, though, like, in this version at least, there was even my turn, like, across everyone's turns. Let's say, because there was 4 of us playing, no, 5? 4 of us playing. Let's say we had, I don't know, 50 turns. I maybe only didn't get resources in 5 of them. So, like, the way, like, things are plotted out and how lucky we got with dice rolls, like, I was still consistently getting resources. But it also, I was playing a little bit more aggressive on the colony side and trying to get as many colonies as I can and unlock more supplies and whatnot. So, it just might have been how I played, but I didn't often have a turn go by that I didn't get some supply. It just never was the supplies I needed.
Which, you know, seems about right.
Yeah. But it's you've never played Catan, but in Catan, you get, in basic Catan, it's a 4-to-1 trade ratio, so you can trade 4 sets of wool for 1 set of ore or mineral. Unless you find and build a settlement near a port, which could potentially have 3-to-1 anything, or 2-to-1, 2 of a specific material for 1 of any material, or something like that. This game, it's just flat out, you don't have to be anywhere specific, you don't have to own anything specific, it's just flat out 3-to-1 everything, except for 1 that's going to be 2-to-1. And I think it's always goods is 2-to-1, or at least that's how it was this time. So, like, then you want to try to push to be able to get extra goods so that you can always trade up those goods to get 1 of something every time you get 2.
Which makes a certain amount of sense.
Yeah, it was good. It was, like I said, like, we started it late, and we were all getting tired, and by the end, we just wanted, because it was getting close to 1:30, it was after 1 o'clock by the time we ended it, we were just like, let's just finish this, let's work together to get a winner. And Audra, who was in last place leading up to, like, the last 2 rounds, won. And we were all like, you could do this and this and this. She's like, yeah, okay, I'll do that. And it's like, great, you win. Awesome. It's like, what do you need? Here, I'll trade this for you. I'll trade that for you. Great, you win. Awesome. Let's clean up and go home because we're tired.
Yeah.
And it was really, that, to me, at least, and I said that to Eric, I was like, it's only because we were tired. It was late. We started it late. That's the only reason we wanted to rush these.
Yeah, that's the downside with some of those games. Like, you don't realize how long they'll take, or you think they're not going to take as long, and then all of a sudden it's been like 2 hours, and it's like,
Yeah.
oh shit, it's 1 a.m. Like, everyone is fucking tired.
Yeah.
Well, any other games or anything you guys wanted to talk about?
No.
Nope.
I didn't play any other board game.
Well then, Rich, how is this
Yes.
Dark Dice YouTube series you're watching?
So, shit, I can't think of any sort of old school media words right now. This Intellivision series that I started listening. I know Intellivision's a game. I don't care. So Dark Dice. It is an actual play. It's a D&D actual play with a little bit more of a darker story, and they come out right out like during one of the first episodes and let you know like this is meant to be very difficult for the players. They use a sanity system to where like if they reach 20 sanity, then they go crazy and like end up fighting each other. If they reach a certain amount of sanity, they might start mistaking people for things, and it adds into like the role play like their role play of like, oh well, I saw this, so I swear it was you, even though it wasn't them. They just they saw something that they were wrong about because they're just going a little bit crazy. And it's just like it's overall it's very well produced. And one of the interesting things that they do with this, hence why Jeff Goldblum was on it, is they will play the game and they will record themselves playing the game. They're across the world. So they play online, and then they will actually transcribe the game to become more of a story, and they will get actors to voice some of the NPCs and other characters. So the players themselves are voicing the characters, their characters, but the DM is hiring Jeff Goldblum to voice a key NPC.
That's fun.
So yeah, it's very interesting. So it's like anytime there's a new NPC, or when they're just doing things and not like, it's not very important, well, not necessarily not important, but it's like, it's him describing the scenery and what's going on, or even in combat, it's not just them sitting there, roll the dice, I do this happens. It's, they take the combat that could take an hour, and they boil it down to 2 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes, of him just telling you what happened. They do this, and then this, and it goes here, and then it goes there. And like, I don't know if he does exactly word for word what happens in the combat, but they'll pepper in some of like the one-liners that the players might try to go for and whatnot while describing the actions of the characters. But like, they stress that this is an actual D&D game. There are dice rolls, but they don't stress the dice rolls in the actual play itself. They do what they can to transcribe and perform the actual play, post the game being played, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And it's very cool. It can be very rapid at times, especially like there was an entire 30-minute episode that was just him describing a combat session. And it was a little too quick for me to fully track, but I got the gist of it. I didn't need to sit here and understand like everything that happened, as long as I knew like this person got hurt and this happened and this person did that and whatnot. Like it does go fast, but it's very cool. It's a very interesting dark story, and it starts off. I'm only less than 10 episodes in, and episodes are around like I'd say between 20 and 40 minutes long each. I think there might be an hour episode here or there. There's a lot of episodes. They're in at least 2 or 3 seasons now. I have them just all queued up on my Google Podcast, so just as I have time, I just click it to play it and let it keep going. But it's just, I enjoy it. It's a different way to perform an actual. This way, like, there's not a lot of downtime in it, and they're telling the story, and they're telling what happens in the story. But they are also, like, at times you'll hear him say, that would require a whatever check. And it's like, if, like, the player asks them, it's not him saying it as they're playing, like, give me this. It's them, like, voice-overing voiceover. It's him VOing himself, saying like she needed to do this in order to accomplish what she was going for, and they'll be like, "Oh, I rolled a this," and then it's like, "All right, well, here's what she was able to do," and he'll describe it better than he did maybe when they were actually playing the game. And I think I like that idea. I like the idea of like recording it and then writing it down to make it work better than just sitting there and like you getting all the ums or uhs or the downtime of somebody trying to figure out what their score is or what's actually going to work and what's not going to work. I like how they're putting this together.
So, is it like a weekly show?
I think it's every other week. I'm not really sure. It's been going on a long time. It's been on my wish list since I went to Ohio.
Oh, wow. I actually thought it was newer, because I feel like I've heard other people mention it semi-recently.
Because Jeff Goldblum was on it.
Oh, yeah, I guess that would be a good reason why it would get popular all of a sudden.
I think it was on my queue, on my subscribe feed, before Jeff Goldblum was on it, and I did not know that this was a Jeff Goldblum series when I started to listen to it. And, like, I just knew that there was a series on here that I've wanted to listen to, because I found out about it in some form, and I wanted to check it out. And it's good. It's very well produced. It sounds very smooth, and, like, the characters are very interesting. They have, throughout, like, the first couple of episodes, they pepper in, like, maybe every other episode, every, like, 2 or 3 episodes, they'll pepper in, like, the backstory of one of the characters. So, like, you get to know this character, that character, and whatnot.
That is actually pretty cool. So I know I was joking before, but there's no, it is strictly podcast. It's not like a video podcast sort of deal.
As far as I know, it's strictly podcast.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not like, because Critical Role just released a new podcast thing that they're doing midst, and it's like, you can listen to it as a podcast, or if you watch it on YouTube, they have, like, minor animations for it. It's nothing like that. It's just straight up, it's a podcast. Which,
okay.
You know, it's nice. The way they're putting it together, it's nice. If it were anything more, like if it were an actual, like, video or something like that, I would rather them do show the combat more and show what's going on and make it a little bit more longer format. But because it's just him narrating mostly what's going on, when it comes to combat or when it comes to scenery and different actions that take place, it's mostly him just narrating. It works better as a podcast, because, like, I don't know how how they would actually make a video without it just being a backdrop with them talking over it.
Okay, I can get that. So, and honestly, I know you said you're 10 episodes in ish.
Not even, but probably.
How many? Like off the top of your head, do you know how many there are? I guess I could just look.
I'm looking now. There are, I don't know. In season 1, maybe? Hold on. There's 16 chapters of the, I guess, first season. And then the second season looks like it gets split between 2 parties. Or the parties are split, so there's 1A, 1B, 2A, 2B, so on and so forth. And that goes for 10 episodes. And then I think there's another new season after that. I'm not sure, because like
these episodes are actually pretty short too. It looks like.
Yeah, like the longest I've seen is an hour and 10 minutes, but that's just that's not an actual episode of the podcast. It's
also not nearly it's not weekly. It doesn't look like. It looks like they do take like pretty big breaks and all. Assuming I'm looking at the right thing, like. Is the current one called The Long Road, it looks like?
Yeah, the most recent episode was March 22nd, The Long Road. So it's about every 2 weeks that they do releases. But they're also, like, a full-on production company that does a bunch of other audio dramas and things like that.
They're not the same company that did that thing you had us listen to?
No.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, no. You're talking about, what's it called? The Message and... Life After.
Those.
No, that was GE. 100% that was GE.
That's right.
No, that's not them. That's let's see if it says it in Full and Scholar Production, which they do the White Vault, the Liberty Podcast, the Boar Night, Vast Horizon, Don't Mind. Like they do a bunch of different audio, and a lot of them are like actual play audio dramas.
Okay.
Yeah. And they all have that same style of hiring voice actors to do the NPCs, hiring actors to do the NPCs, rather than it just being the DM voicing 6 different characters in an episode. They'll probably have the characters have an actual conversation or something. But, like, the DM actually does all the character dialogue in the game, but then when it comes to production and recording, it's like, oh, let's just get Jeff Goldblum to play this guy, if we can. Alright, yeah, sure. And then they pay Jeff Goldblum to to posthumously record audio for something that already happened for a fake thing.
It's kind of fun.
It's a funny, it's fun, but it's a funny concept. Like, you're gonna record audio for dialogue that we already have the responses to, because you're Jeff Goldblum. We need you to do this. I love the idea. I love it.
I mean, Jeff Goldblum is also just seems like fun. Like, he just leans into being like Jeff Goldblum at this point.
Exactly. He'll do it all.
Anything else you want to say about this, though?
Check it out. If you guys have a chance, check it out. It seems pretty fun. I want people to talk to it.
All right, Drew. Time to listen to some D&D podcasts.
I tried listening to it once, but I went in expecting an actual play and kind of was, like, immediately bounced off of it. But I have been debating going back and kind of being like, okay, it is not like Critical Role, etc., etc.
Yeah,
it is a different thing.
It is an actual D&D game. It isn't kind of an actual play, but a lot of the play part of the actual play isn't in it.
Which is funny, like, to call it an actual play when it's like, like, it is, but it isn't.
Yeah, and it's like, the past, like, 2 episodes that I listened to, there was a lot more character-to-character dialogue, and that's like some of the actual play aspect. And, like I said, they'll ask if they'll be like, hey, DM, can we do this? Can we do that? Whatever. And, like, it won't be him saying, yeah, go ahead and do this. It'll be his narration of, that required this, which they succeeded on and did this. And then they would send it back to the dialogue that was the actual game itself and the characters talking to each other.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. So, next up, I watched Mythic Quest, because I got 6 months free of Apple TV.
Nice.
Yeah. That's been the only way I've had Apple TV so far, is like these like 6-ish month free things.
Yeah.
And like this just happened to work out that I was like kind of looking around at options for it, because I know I had gotten like a few like trial offer things with like my new TV and stuff that I never used, but T-Mobile actually offers 6 months free. So I'm like, okay, cool, I'll take it. And because Ted Lasso just came back last month, so I'm like, I need to catch up on Ted Lasso because that show is a fucking delight.
Yeah.
And I've honestly heard nothing but good things about most of the original content they have on there.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of good for YouTube, or not YouTube, for that.
Yeah, for Apple TV Plus.
For Apple, yeah.
But so we decided to watch Mythic Quest because we were looking for something like short and funny. And holy shit, is that show funny?
That's
like,
good.
They did a really good job with that show. Do you guys know what it's about?
Vaguely.
So it's a video game studio that does an MMO, like in the vein of WoW. And the first season is them leading up to the launch of their latest expansion. The very first episode is literally them arguing about the design and implementation of a shovel. Their lead engineer wants the shovel to just be a shovel. She just wants it so that you can dig in the game, because the game features like persistent terrain changes. So like if you dig a hole, that hole will actually stay there. But then Rob McElhenney, the creative director of the studio, wants it to be like this golden like weapon that is like the best weapon in the game for whatever stupid reason. He spends an entire episode just beating watermelons with an actual shovel in a mocap suit, trying to get like the right swing and stuff down for cracking people's heads open with it.
Nice.
But they also do not mind making some pretty fucking racy jokes. That, because they're willing to lean into it, ends up being very funny. In one of the episodes, they find out that their game is basically being overrun by Nazis. Yeah, like just all over their game. There's just legitimate like people in there like making their characters do like Nazi salutes, and on voice chat just spewing hatred. So at a certain point they manage to like segregate them into like an isolated server somehow. And they just let them live in that server by themselves, just treating each other like shit, essentially. And they don't know it, so it's even better. But at one point, they're using the shovel, and they dig a swastika, but it's a bunch of dicks making the swastika.
Mhm.
And Rob McElhenney's character looks at it on like a screen and goes, well, that's German engineering. I'm just like, wow, you got just bravo. And then like 10 minutes later in that same episode, they were basically going over like things that are bad. And somehow like somebody brings up like, well, what do pedophiles fear? And this one girl goes, puberty.
Oh God.
I'm just like, okay, so this is the level we're setting this show at in like the first 2 episodes.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really well done. It's obviously like very satirical of game design, but like also if you ever like read articles or books or stuff like that, or listen to people that have been like involved in game design, like it's hyperbole, but it's also not in some ways. Like just the way that like creative directors are sometimes like Ken Levine's are often noted as being very nitpicky and will just kind of walk in one day and be like, I don't like any of this anymore. Scrap it all. We're starting over. And like, that's very much what like Rob McElhenney's character is like. I mean, he fucking calls himself Ian. Like his name is Ian. But it's got Danny Pudi from Community.
Yeah.
As the monetization manager or whatever. So, whoops. Hang on a sec.
Wow, he broke it.
He did. He
Can't
just
believe
fell
it.
into a portal.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. He's just gone. I'll never come back.
I accidentally like whacked the microphone and it knocked all the little like ropes off of it to keep it like suspended.
Oh, you're back.
Nice.
Yeah.
How are the dinosaurs?
They're okay.
Okay.
But yeah, so he's in it as the monetization guy who his entire job is just finding ways to cheat people out of money.
Mm-hmm.
And like he leans into it. Like he's very good at just like, I don't care what any of you want. I just want to make money. So we're just going to put a casino in this fantasy world.
I mean, it makes sense.
Does it though?
Why not?
Like, if you want people to make money if you want to make money off of your game, you offer people the option to buy money and go into a casino and spend the money that they just bought. Because they're not winning real money, they're winning fake money. But people will be out there to buy money to go into the casino to win fake money. I promise you that.
Oh,
it
yeah.
100% would work. And it definitely makes sense for a I was going to say skeezy slum bag, but you know what I mean. Skeezy scumbag.
I mean, it
Sleazy
does.
scumbag.
It's just funny because like they put this thing in the game and it's a fantasy world. Like there are no modern looking anything in here. Except there's this fucking, like, modern skyscraper casino with, like, neon lights in the middle of the fucking woods.
That's great.
Yeah. Apparently, I was reading online, Ubisoft is actually, like, involved with them, which I vaguely remember hearing. So, like, they're helping to make sure that, like when they show in, like, quote-unquote in-game footage, like, it looks like in-game, like a game could actually look, whereas sometimes when you see, like, movies or shows that have, like, video games in them, like, they don't look like video games.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense why they put a tower as the casino.
Yeah, they have also name dropped quite a few Ubisoft games, but other games too. Like they talked about The Last of Us at one point. So like they're definitely naming actual games.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think other like notable stuff about it. They, like many shows, they did a COVID episode where everyone filmed it like from their own homes, basically over like iPads and Zoom meetings.
Yeah.
Which it culminated in one of those, like it was a faux Rube Goldberg machine where everybody set up like a piece in their video that would run off screen, so that if they timed it right, like it would look like the ball rolled to like the next person's screen to continue like its path.
Nice.
It was pretty cool. I'm sure it actually took them a lot of setup to get that to work.
Yeah.
But it was fun. Yeah. If you have Apple TV Plus or can get like a trial for it or whatever, I highly recommend checking out Mythic Quest. It's 3 seasons right now. It's like, I want to say it's like 10-ish episodes per season, and they're only about a half hour, so it's not like it's not a huge commitment.
Mm-hmm.
And while you're at it, also watch Ted Lasso, because that show is a fucking delight.
You should probably watch Severance.
We are definitely going to watch that too. But that show, from what I hear, is not a delight. It's just a really good show.
Yeah. Yeah, that's I may or may not have my parents log in information for Apple TV that I have not used because I have Android. So the only way I can actually use an Apple TV is either on my PS5 or on my PC.
Which you haven't had your PS5 turned on since what, like 2020?
No, a month, maybe.
What did you play a month ago on your PS5?
Fallen Order.
Oh, that's right. I forgot you played that.
Yeah, played that in February.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot. I take it back.
Took me all of March to play Tales of Arise. Literally, all but 2 streams in March for Tales of Arise.
And it took you all of April to play Apex Legends.
That's not... I mean, yeah, you're right. But
Yeah,
maybe I won't ever have...
You can't argue because I'm right.
I mean, it took me all of April to get to whatever rank I'm going to end in Apex. But
Fine.
there's no end in Apex Legends, so it didn't take me all of April to get through.
I said fine art. God.
I'm going to keep going.
But yeah, so Mythic Quest, very good. Worth watching. It's worth watching as long as you're not easily offended. Because like I said, like, it's obviously satire and hyperbole, but like, they do say some offensive shit in there. Like, one other thing that's actually funny, but also like fucked up funny. There are 2 characters that are playtesters. It's Ashley Birch is one of them, and I don't know who the other girl is. At one point though, the one girl gets like moved to a different position, and this guy gets brought in as like the replacement, and he is the epitome of like douchebag game guy, but not like Call of Duty bro, like douchebag, like actually kind of guy.
Okay.
Where at one point he says he's sitting in the room with Ashley Birch's character and goes like, "Look, I don't want to sleep with you," and she goes, "I'm gay," and his response is, "I could change that." Like, just the worst.
Yeah.
And he also looks like he's like 50 and his job is game tester. So, you know, not exactly like top of the ladder sort of person in any regard. But yeah, fun show. Again, I'm just going to say watch Ted Lasso too, because it's its last season. And there are not many shows that are that kind of funny.
Yeah. I've heard nothing but good from Ted Lasso.
Yeah. It's so weird because like you start the show, if you go in there not knowing about it, you start the show and you think that like there's going to be some sort of like sarcasm to him or something, but there's not. He is just genuinely the nicest fucking guy in the world. Like, he makes cookies for his boss every day, every single day.
Yeah.
But how about book club?
How about it?
What did you guys think of Pitch Perfect 2?
I loved the movie. I thought it was fantastic. There was at no point in time in that movie that I wasn't either laughing or just smiling or dancing around.
Now, had you ever seen 2 before?
No, only have ever seen 1, and I personally think 1 is still a better movie, but like not by far. I think 1 is better. I think 2 is very good and enjoyable, and it's very endearing and silly, and it knows what it is.
Yeah.
And how ridiculous it is. And that's kind of where 1 is as well. It's like, it knows what it is. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. I think 2 benefits from the characters already knowing each other and them knowing what they want those characters to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Drew, what did you think, since you have never seen any of these and you're starting with the sequel?
I thought it was fine, but also, like, I feel like Acapella had that real quick comeback for, like, 2 years there, and boy, did it age real fast.
Yeah, like, I'm watching this, and I'm like, this college has, like, 4, like, competing acapella groups.
Yeah.
Maybe more. Because I know in the first one, there were quite a few groups that were auditioning, like, at the beginning of the first movie.
I think it was 4 in the first.
I also, like, I have seen this movie before. I did not catch until I was watching it this time that, 1, there's music in the opening scene. Like, they are singing to music that's not a cappella. And 2, had never dawned on me that it is actually, like, 3.5 years later, and they have won the tournament from the first one 2 more times since the first movie.
Yeah.
It makes sense. It just, for whatever reason, never clicked before. That, like, oh, right, like, it's been multiple years. They started as freshmen, now they're seniors, and they have won that nationals competition every year.
Except I forget the character. Except not the one. She's intentionally not graduated for 3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's part of, like, to me, the charm of this movie, of knowing exactly what the fuck it is. It's like, oh yeah, her life is the Bellas, so she purposely failed out of a class the last 2 years to keep herself as part of the Bellas.
Yeah. And like these movies are very good for the like quick kind of like blink and you miss it like bullshit line. Mm-hmm. Like that girl, when she's saying how like she hasn't graduated in 7 years, she's like, I'm going to graduate this year and I'm going to teach children how to sing or exotic dance.
Whichever
and like
one
it's
pays
just
more.
Yeah, it's just said with such conviction and like no one like bats an eye at it that it's like you could almost miss it.
When she was doing, like, she was like, it might not seem it, but I've been afraid to move on, and everyone was just like, no, we could tell you're a mess. Like, we get you. Like, I was like, this is good. This is great in-your-face writing that, like, works. Like, sometimes there's in-your-face writing that's just like, come on, this is too much. But, like, with a movie like this, they're like, oh, well, I don't know if I showed it. And it's like, no, yeah, you did. All movie you did. And every character is going to acknowledge that you did. And it's going to be funny the way they do.
I said this to Erica when we were watching it yesterday. I hope, so there's the scene when they first get to the camp and, like, they're all going to sleep. And Anna Kendrick goes from facing the girl who hasn't graduated to facing, like, the one Asian girl who doesn't, like she speaks very quietly.
Yeah.
And that girl just, like, sticks out her tongue and licks her nose.
Yeah.
And, like, that scene just seemed so random. I kind of hope it was just improvised and it just, it worked and they went with it, so they just kept it in the movie.
Yeah.
Because, like, if that was scripted, I feel like, I don't know, just something about that scene just didn't seem like it could have been scripted.
Mm-hmm. Can we talk about the fact that the Green Bay Packers were singing Bootylicious? And, like, that made the movie for me, as the Green Bay Packers singing Bootylicious.
Yeah, that was very good. Like them being there and, what's his face? David Cross, like, introducing the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah.
And then, like, what's his face? It's Clay Matthews?
Yeah.
When he's, like, so excited for that last category, and then it's finally their turn and he just freezes. He's like, I don't have anything, guys. Yeah, those weird little, like sing-offs, and I've never seen the third one, but in the first two movies, those weird little sing-offs tend to be, like, very fun.
The sing-off in the first one is very good. This one was a little bit more, like, as dumb as it's going to sound, it worked better in the first one. This one, because it was just like, oh, college a cappella groups meeting up at one of the college pools and doing their sing-offs to test everyone's chops. But, like, this one was, like, just randomly, like, oh yeah, some dude just finds random a cappella groups that 3 of them are of the college that we're following, or 2 of them are of the college we're following. One of them has the main character from the previous, has one of the characters from graduated.
That group was in the first movie too.
Were they?
Yeah, Adam Devine was not part of it.
Yeah, because Adam Devine was in the Troublemakers.
I don't think Questlove was part of it either. But the guy from Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Joe Latrugio?
Did you just call Reggie Watts Questlove?
Yes. I thought it was Questlove.
No, that was definitely Reggie Watts.
Oh yeah, no, I dedefinitely thought it was Questlove the whole time.
99% sure.
I've only seen Questlove on, like, Jimmy Fallon clips, like, 3 times, so I just thought that's who that was. But I can't remember the other guy's name either. The taller white guy in that group, those two, like, the 2, like, older white guys were definitely in the first movie. Because there's this scene where I want to say that the Troublemakers win, like, a competition. And they get into some, like, confrontation in the hallway with those older guys that had no right being there. Oh, fucking Turk was in it. Turk was in the group in the first movie.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
It's been forever since I watched.
The first movie was on when I went up to Boston for my holiday party back in December. So I had that on in my hotel room while I was, like, getting ready and whatnot. Yeah, I knew there was somebody else in that group that was, like, notable in comedy. Also, just for what it's worth, I think Anna Kendrick has perfect comedic timing in this movie. Like, with just, like, those stupid little lines, like, when she's, like, kind of, like, flustered and nervous.
Yeah, when she's flirting with the Germans.
Not even that. Like, when she was during the Snoop Dogg scene with the holiday song, and what's his face? Keegan-Michael Key says like, "Oh, you can sing," and she goes, "Yeah, I'm like a 3-time a cappella national champion." She goes, "So like
kind of the same in our fields."
It's like we're the top. We're both the tops of our fields. I'm just like, what?
And Key's just like, "Yeah, sure."
Yeah. Or she introduces Haley Steinfeld's character as a tall drink of water later on.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like stupid shit like that is just very funny.
Fulaborg is fantastic in this movie.
Who?
Fulaborg or Flulaborg. I don't really know how to pronounce his name. He was the German dude.
Oh, like the one that like just like kept saying random shit?
Yeah.
Oh,
I love him. He played somebody in Suicide Squad. One of the first, in the second Suicide Squad, he was part of the initial team. I can't remember which one. I can't remember who he was of that first team. But he's a great comedic actor. It's weird to say a German actor is a great comedic actor, but he's fantastic. I think he's German.
I think the whole German team was, if they weren't German, they were at least Eastern European.
Yeah,
the ones that had lines.
Oh yeah, because I was actually looking at the cast, and the girl that was on the team is not German.
But Erica looked her up because she thought she looked familiar. I think she's like from the Netherlands.
Danish.
Denmark. But right there. All right there.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, I think the Netherlands actually speaks Danish in some parts of it. Or it might be like their second language or something like that.
I'm sure. Like, that's all, crosses.
Oh yeah, they speak Dutch in the Netherlands.
Dutch, yeah.
Anytime friggin' John Michael Higgins and what's her name were on
Elizabeth Banks.
Elizabeth Banks, yeah. Anytime they were on, and anytime Higgins said anything, I was just dying laughing. I'm just like
at one point he's like, "This is why you don't send women to college." I'm just like, wow.
And then again, like, it just shows like that this movie knows what it was and how ridiculous it is, and so like the script just goes off the wall. And I think like the next one goes even crazier. At one point, Ruby Rose is in it for some reason. I think she's a competing a cappella group. And yeah, I want to watch the third one. And since I have a month of Peacock, I probably will watch it over this.
Oh shit! So I knew Elizabeth Banks was a producer on all of them. She actually directed too.
She directed this one.
But yeah, like there were just they knew what they, like we said before, they knew what they were doing. Like they knew their humor for this one. What's his face? The guy who was way too old to play the high schooler like last year in that other musical. Ben something, right? Drew, you watch musicals. What's that musical about that fucking Broadway Alex was in?
Oh, Dear Evan Hansen.
Yeah, that one. The kid from this movie that he did Magic.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of his name. He's kind of famous though. Ben Platt. Yeah. There it is. Ben Platt. When he first meets Haley Steinfeld's character and he says something about wanting to cut her in half, and the other guy's just like, he does magic. It's only weird if you don't go with it. Like, okay, sure.
Yeah.
That tracks.
And then anytime what's her name? Was it Chloe, I guess? Was a main blonde haired girl.
You mean the 3-time senior?
Yeah, the 3-time senior. I think was that Chloe? I guess so.
Chloe's the one that like she wasn't blonde. She had red hair.
Whoever it was a 3-time senior. Anytime she was just like, "This is the worst thing that ever happened in our lives," and then you had the Hispanic girl. She was like, "My brother tried to sell me for a chicken once," and it's just deadpan looks, and she's like, "But you're right. This is worse." Or she had like one other line, and then it's like, "Well, what are you gonna do when you graduate?" "Well, I'm gonna get deported, so I'm probably gonna die trying to come back to your country." And I'm like, wow, that I was not expecting that.
Yeah, like they don't pull punches with a lot of that stuff.
No.
Yeah. Anything else though that you guys want to say about Pitch Perfect 2?
Next book club movie is gonna be Pitch Perfect.
I don't think Pitch Perfect 3 is on Peacock.
It should be. It's not.
No, because like for whatever reason, those movies are scattered all over the fucking place. Also, Careful, because who knows what that director.
It's on Hulu. You need a premium subscription, so it's definitely.
It's not on Hulu actually. Like it's on like whatever you can add on to Hulu.
Yeah. So it would be
DirecTV looks like they have it. But like it's all subscription or rentals.
I might rent that this weekend.
Do it. What's the worst that happens? It's a bad movie? Probably not. The first two are funny. But Rich, what is the next book club pick?
I completely forgot to think about this and look this up and figure out what it was going to be. But I have a movie on my list that we can find that it has a notable actor in it, or notable director. I've been wanting to watch this, I believe, least show. It is a Prime Video movie. It is Super 8.
Okay.
Yeah, and that is J.J. Abrams. So, making it a little difficult. Hopefully we can find a couple of other J.J. Abrams movies to watch over the next couple of weeks that are on other services.
So, like, he hasn't done a lot of movies, has he?
I mean, he's Force Awakens, Star Trek, Cloverfield,
Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah,
I mean, did he do Cloverfield?
He did Cloverfield. He did the original Cloverfield. And
why is that
Cloverfield
not on here?
I mean, I'm looking through. All right, the director. He was a director for Cloverfield.
So their filmography, like his filmography on Wikipedia, is just not organized well. Like some stuff are in like a nice table, other things are just in an unorganized list, and it varies depending on if he was only a producer or if he did more than one thing. Like it's quite a mess. Apparently, he was the writer on fucking Armageddon.
Oh wow.
Huh. But yeah, so we got
if we can't find enough that has him as director, a J.J. Abrams production movie writer written anything J.J. Abrams has his name on, I think.
So to be fair, the things that I wrote down and put numbers next to when I had you roll the dice, it was director or producer, because I thought there was a chance that like maybe like one of us will have like a very specific thing that like the director isn't super notable, but usually if it's a well-known enough movie and it got a real release, it probably has at least a producer that has produced other things. Yeah. So like that does open up a lot more like the Mission Impossible movies, like the good ones, not the original ones.
Yeah, Ghost Protocol. You can do the other Cloverfield movies. The first one he directed, I believe. But the others he only produced.
He's only a producer on any of them.
Oh, I thought he did more than this. Nope. I thought he was a bigger director than he is.
Nope. He has directed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 movies.
So he did television for over a decade.
Yeah.
Because he went from
let's watch a whole season of Alias.
Or Lost. Let's watch all 6 seasons of Lost.
Let's watch all of Lost.
I'd rather watch Alias.
I'm not against that.
But
I've been wanting to rewatch that.
Like, starting in 98, he created, directed, wrote, executive produced, and theme composer for Felicity, and then Alias, and then Lost. Mm-hmm. So, like, while he didn't write and direct every episode, like, he was heavily involved with all 3 shows. So, like, that's why if you look, his directing, like, didn't really start... Actually, his first director credit in movies was Mission Impossible 3 in 2006. Mm-hmm. So, wow. I thought somebody else did Mission Impossible 3. Maybe I'm thinking Mission Impossible 2. The first 3 Mission Impossibles I don't think are all that good. But, like, the later ones, pretty good movies.
Yeah, the later ones I hear from Mission Impossibles are pretty good. But, so I'm going with Cloverfield, or not Cloverfield, with Super 8. That's been a movie that I recently, within the past couple of months before we started doing this, whole, like, every set of movies match thing, that's been a movie that I added onto my list a while back. I know last week I thought about doing Spielberg, but and we could have done Indiana Jones, but I wasn't 100% feeling Indiana Jones. So, and I forgot to look up other Spielberg movies.
I mean, you can probably name a movie, and there's a good chance Spielberg was involved in it.
Absolutely. Star Wars.
Jaws. We could be watching fucking Jaws.
But yeah, we're gonna go with Super 8, which you guys can't see, but I started anytime I thought of a movie, I would look it up and find out where it is as well. So I had it written down so I knew if it was available or not. And so Super 8 is on Prime.
Just Watch is pretty accurate for that stuff.
just normally when I'm looking up movies, just check what Google says.
So my problem with Google is it sometimes will tell you it's available somewhere. Because like you said before, it's available on Hulu if you have a subscription to like Showtime or something.
That's the thing. Like, if it says Hulu Premium subscription, then it's not on Hulu. It is on Hulu, but it's not on Hulu. It's on a different service through Hulu. And that's, like, so I'm like, I look at that, and if it just says Hulu, then it's like, alright, it's on Hulu. But if it says Premium subscription, then I'm like, alright, then it's not Hulu. Or we have to do a trial.
Tomato, potato.
Potato.
No, I said it how I meant.
Tanjiro. Tomato.
Anything else you guys want to talk about, though?
No, I don't think so.
All right. Well, in 2 weeks, we will talk about Super 8. And other than that, if you would like to find more of our content, you can head over to www.one-quest.com. You can help us out by supporting us at patreon.com/onequest. If you can't support us there with your dollars, you can go to your favorite podcast platform, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher. Rate us, review us, subscribe to us. All of it helps. You can also find us on social media, facebook.com/onequestonline or at @1_quest on Instagram and Twitter. Our YouTube channel is youtube.com/onequestvideo, and you can always send us an email to social@one-quest.com. And then, Rich, you're playing a whole bunch of Apex for the next 2.5, 3 weeks?
More Apex through the beginning of May, but keep an eye out on my YouTube channel for the Let's Plays that I'm releasing, mostly because since I'm only playing Apex, I wanted a different game for everyone who doesn't care about Apex. So check me out, twitch.tv/bwalnuts, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. And YouTube, it's just bwalnuts, or at bwalnuts on Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday for new videos.
Cool. And with that, we will be back next week with something else to talk about. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.